If you enjoy survival horror and third-person shooters with a good helping of zombies, there is a solid chance that you will love the Resident Evil 2 remake. If you haven't played it already, be warned that your heart may thump at times, and you may even find yourself jumping out of your seat on more than one occasion. But there is no doubting that this game is a hugely successful reproduction, backed up by a compelling storyline. Resident Evil 2 was the first remake in the franchise to run on Capcom's Resident Evil engine. It was initially built for Biohazard, which released back in 2017, but it has since been used successfully for several Capcom games. Camera angles, character models, motion blur, real-time rendering and textures are just some of the elements which have helped turn this remake into something very special. Having never played the original release of Resident Evil 2, I cannot say how the storytelling differs, if at all. But what I do know is that the pixelated characters of yesteryear have been scrapped to make way for a modern touch. The weaponry differs drastically, depending on the character. The trusty combat knife is issued the same, but the change in firearms makes each respective campaign a fresh experience and a new challenge. If I had to pick my favourite weapon selection between the two, it would have to be Leon's arsenal. The discovery of the flamethrower in the late game is a blast to use, but so too are some of his staple weapons. Opportunities to upgrade guns throughout the duration of the campaign sees a number of improvements that help to eliminate enemies more effectively. Ammo scarcity remains largely balanced, but multiple save files may save you from reaching the point of no return. However, the very last weapon Claire picks up in her story is the minigun, a gaming classic, and one which makes short work of the final boss. The story of Resident Evil 2 plays out differently depending on the character you choose. For the first playthrough I opted for Leon Kennedy, followed by Claire Redfield. Each of their respective stories begin to develop more after progress is made at the Raccoon City Police Department. The core story will remain relatively unchanged, yet the new relationships formed in the mid-game carry weight into the final moments of each campaign. Ada Wong and Sherry Birkin both play excellent roles in advancing the narrative, and we even get the opportunity to control the pair, albeit for brief periods. With the ability to learn several new plot details with each character, playing as both Leon and Claire is highly recommended, even if it is just the once. Leon and Claire are the story's basis, as the pair look to find shelter and eventually escape Raccoon City following the outbreak of the T-virus. This biological weapon was developed by the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Company, and saw very few survive the outbreak. The pair initially meet in a gas station, which is crawling with zombies, but soon find themselves heading towards the Raccoon City Police Department. Upon reaching a dead end, the pair are split up, so have to make their own way to the police station. It is here where we meet Marvin. The far stronger G-virus also plays a large role in the story, and affects each respective character in a different yet similar manner. Created by William Birkin, the G-virus was intended to rival the T-virus, creating a more powerful and controllable bioweapon. Things, however, do not play out as intended. It has to be said, after well and truly diving headfirst into the survival horror genre throughout the last year, the Resident Evil 2 remake absolutely nails a number of elements. The basic zombies are slow yet terrifying. They hide around corners, bang on windows and even fall in front of you when you least expect it. Lickers are ruthless and will attack you from all directions. But the most intimidating of them all is that of Tyrant, otherwise known as Mr. X. Having played the campaign a number of times, the sound of his footsteps are forever implanted into the memory banks. With the volume cranked up, the last thing you ever want to do is back yourself into a corner, as this villainous enemy only knows to deal pain. And he does so very effectively. My first playthrough as Leon took just under 6 hours. By taking time to absorb the world, searching for many of the hidden items, and figuring out various puzzles, the campaign was still a lot shorter than I expected. The second playthrough with Claire took just under 4 hours, having learned the locations of said items and the most effective ways to kill a certain enemy type. There is the option to play the campaign with a second run, which unlocks the true ending for the game. With 3 different difficulties, and a whole host of achievements, you would think that would be enough content, but no. There are also 5 bonus modes which are on offer. These are timed, and whilst I found the majority to be pretty dull, the 4th Survivor mode is highly recommended. Loaded with an arsenal of weaponry and plenty of ammo to boot, you proceed to work your way in reverse to the campaign's route, starting in the sewers. The Tofu Survivor is also extremely random, but fun to play on the odd occasion. If that wasn't enough, there are a whole host of skins up for grabs when playing as Leon or Claire. Although this doesn't change the gameplay, they are cool additions for those who are looking to switch things up. If I were to compare this remake to Resident Evil 3, I would say that the gameplay is far slower paced. Its successor is more action-packed, yet Resident Evil 2 has the true essence of a horror game. When it comes to the world building and lighting, especially in the Raccoon City Police Department, there are few mainstream survival horror games which can top it. I also feel that the character building was slightly stronger in the third title, but in all, Resident Evil 2 was a joy to play and is certified awesome. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider clicking on the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below if you too have played the Resident Evil 2 remake, and tell us what you think.